Have you ever noticed that with age, the truth about human relationships becomes clearer? Many believe that family will always be there, that children will repay parents for their care, and that old age will be a time of recognition and respect. But Schopenhauer warned us, not everything is as we imagine. The reality is that after 60, many feel lonelier than ever. Children have their own lives. Friendships fall apart, and society becomes indifferent. So what remains? The German philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer said that the true wisdom of old age lies not in dependence on others, but in strengthening the pillars that ensure autonomy and dignity. Today, we explore 7 key pillars for a fulfilling and independent life after 60, based on Schopenhauer's sharp and realistic reflections. Pillar 1. The danger of the family illusion. The belief that family is the most reliable foundation for old age is one of life's greatest illusions. Arthur Schopenhauer, a thinker undeceived by human nature, reminds us that family bonds aren't always built on sincere love, but rather on social norms and imposed expectations. From childhood, we're taught that family will always be there, but this idea rarely withstands the test of adult reality. In youth, parents are seen as central figures necessary for a child's formation and protection. But over time, the dynamic changes. Children grow up, build their own lives, and inevitably create distance. Love may remain, but priorities shift. They need to care for their careers, spouses, and children, and often elderly parents become distant amid daily responsibilities. Schopenhauer clearly saw this reality and warned us about the common mistake of expecting children to repay love and care with the same intensity they were raised with. The painful truth is that family attachment can be fragile and changeable. Some relationships withstand the test of time, but many others weaken with distance and lack of shared interests. Old age becomes a moment of bitter reflection for many. Those who spent their lives believing family would provide companionship and support find themselves vulnerable, disappointed, and even resentful. But Schopenhauer teaches us a crucial lesson. The only way to avoid suffering is to accept reality and prepare wisely for it. If there's one thing to avoid in old age, it's relying solely on others for happiness. Many seniors expect their children to care for their well-being, but this expectation isn't always met. Even when there's love, availability isn't guaranteed. Children living far away, grandchildren who barely know their grandparents, family decisions that exclude the elderly, these are common scenes repeated worldwide. Does this mean isolating or cutting ties? No, but we must change our perspective on what family truly represents in old age. Instead of clinging to the idea that children and grandchildren will be our primary source of emotional support and company, we must strengthen other areas of life that guarantee independence and personal fulfillment. Practical tips. Don't expect love to be returned by your children. Many parents spend their lives investing in their children, expecting gratitude and repayment. But Schopenhauer warns us, expecting something from others is the root of disappointment. The love you gave your children was a gift, not a contract with an obligation to repay. Live for yourself. Do what brings you joy, and don't tie your happiness to what others can or cannot offer. Accept that family attachment can be changeable. Not all children or grandchildren will be present in your life as you'd like. This doesn't mean love has ended, it means priorities have shifted. Instead of resenting this, wisely accept reality. Those who want to be near you will do so voluntarily, and it's with them you should connect. Cultivate friendships and connections outside the family. The danger is limiting your social life to your family circle. Over time, this network shrinks. Invest in solid friendships and participate in groups and activities that connect you with others. Friends can become a true, chosen family built on shared interests and genuine respect. Schopenhauer teaches us that emotional maturity comes from accepting the world as it is, not as we wish it to be. Old age doesn't have to be a period of bitterness and disappointment. On the contrary, it can be a moment of liberation if we're ready to face the truth and build a full, independent life regardless of the presence or absence of those we once raised. Pillar 2. The danger of expectation. In human relationships, the root of almost all unhappiness lies in the gap between expectation and reality. The more we expect from others, the more disappointed we become. Schopenhauer understood this best and cautioned, unhappiness comes from the difference between our expectations and reality. The less you expect from others, the less you will suffer. We create illusions about how people around us should behave. We expect recognition, gratitude, and loyalty, but don't always receive it. In old age, this truth can become even more painful. In youth, we're more resilient to disappointment because we have multiple sources of interaction, work, friends, personal projects. But in old age, many limit their lives to the family circle, believing children and grandchildren will fill all emotional voids. The mistake lies in expecting priority. Many parents reaching old age notice they're no longer the center of their children's lives. They have their own families, careers, and concerns. This isn't a lack of love, it's a natural shift in focus. The problem is many seniors cling to the expectation that children will always be nearby, visit often, and always have time for long talks. When this doesn't happen, resentment arises, leading to misunderstandings and sometimes even permanent estrangement. Schopenhauer teaches us that the solution to this suffering isn't demanding more from others, but expecting less. The more we accept that people follow their own paths, the less we feel betrayed or forgotten. Instead of fighting reality, we must learn to accept it and build an emotionally independent life. Schopenhauer teaches us that the greatest emotional freedom comes from expecting less and accepting more. In old age, those who recognize and accept that human connections change over time live much easier lives. The key to a peaceful old age isn't demanding love and attention from others, but building a life that sustains itself. After all, those who learn to be happy with themselves will never become hostages to others' absence. Pillar 3. Loneliness as an ally. Loneliness is one of the greatest fears of old age. But should we really see it as something negative? Arthur Schopenhauer believed loneliness isn't a punishment, but a blessing for those who learn to value it. He said, "Those who haven't learned to be alone will never achieve true peace." Old age shouldn't be feared for its loneliness, but celebrated as a moment of liberation. In youth, we're led to believe we must constantly be surrounded by people. Society teaches that happiness lies in social connections, that we need to belong to a group, and that others' approval is vital. However, over time, we realize many interactions are superficial and draining. Old age frees us from the need for external validation and finally lets us live according to our own desires and thoughts. Schopenhauer teaches us that those truly free don't depend on others' opinions or presence. Many think being surrounded by people means having a full life. But the truth is quantity often means less quality. People follow different paths, and inevitably some leave us. This may seem sad at first, but it can also be liberating. Modern life forces us into obligatory social interactions, holidays, meetings, and obligations often serve only to maintain appearances. Over the years, Schopenhauer argued, great minds always face loneliness because their depth makes them incompatible with the superficiality of the masses. Those who fear loneliness often confuse being alone with being abandoned. However, there's a key difference. Being alone can be a chosen state of peace, while abandonment happens when happiness depends entirely on others. In old age, we realize we're no longer the center of our children's lives. Friends are less present, and social interactions become less frequent. But instead of seeing this as a loss, Schopenhauer suggests viewing it as a moment of self-discovery and inner strengthening. If you can enjoy your own company, you'll never be truly lonely. Schopenhauer said a person's mind can be measured by how they value time spent alone. Instead of seeing loneliness as emptiness, see it as an opportunity for reflection, learning, and tranquility. Walks, a good film, or simply enjoying a cup of coffee in silence. Inner peace comes when we stop seeking external distraction. Release the need for social validation. The constant search for acceptance and approval are a major cause of unhappiness. Old age offers a unique chance to free yourself from others' expectations and live according to your truth. You don't need to meet standards or please anyone but yourself. Schopenhauer teaches us loneliness isn't something to fear, but a necessary stage for those seeking true inner peace. Old age can be life's most liberating moment if we accept it wisely. Those who learn to be alone will never become hostages to the inconstancy of the external world. Ultimately, the best company you can have is the one that will never leave you, yourself. Pillar 4. Wealth as a shield. Arthur Schopenhauer had no illusions about human nature. For him, money wasn't a goal in itself, but served as a protective barrier against life's hardships. He stated, "Money doesn't bring happiness, but it protects against many misfortunes." This becomes even truer in old age. Many believe that upon reaching their later years, they'll naturally be surrounded by support and respect. But reality doesn't always match these expectations. Financial dependence can turn an elderly person into a hostage of their relatives, stripping them of the freedom to make their own decisions. Those hoping their children will care for them unconditionally may face a harsh reality. Not all children are able or willing to take on this responsibility. Some help out of love, but others see the elderly as a burden or even a financial resource to exploit. How many stories have we heard of children emptying their parents' accounts or manipulating them for money? Schopenhauer warned us, depending financially on others means handing your fate over to someone else. Nothing could be more dangerous. If an elderly person lacks autonomy over their life, they can't choose where to live, how to eat, or even what kind of care to receive. Therefore, true security in old age comes not from others' love, but from financial independence. Financial independence is vital. With age, needs change, medical expenses rise, work capacity decreases, and society tends to value those over 60 less. Without their own means, an elderly person becomes vulnerable to external pressure, whether from relatives or the system. Many end up in humiliating situations, dependent on others' goodwill even for small needs. This undermines dignity and quality of life. Schopenhauer understood that money is primarily a symbol of freedom. It's not just a medium of exchange, but a shield against subjugation and despair. Those with resources can pay for necessary care, live in decent conditions, and crucially, can choose. They can say no when needed. The mistake many seniors make is seeing financial stability as a luxury when it's actually a necessity. Therefore, the sooner one prepares, the more peace and freedom they'll have in old age. Practical tips for protecting your financial independence. Plan your retirement to avoid dependence on others. Create a financial plan for old age. Start now. Savings, investments, and organizing your finances are crucial steps. Even small savings accumulated over time can provide greater security. If possible, consult a specialist to evaluate private pension options. Don't give to relatives without guarantees. Naturally, you want to help children or grandchildren in hard times. But many seniors fall into the trap of exhausting their savings. Be selective. Help only if it doesn't undermine your own financial stability. If possible, set clear agreements to avoid emotional and financial costs. Make wise investments for your final years with dignity. Money sitting idle loses value. Seek safe investments that generate income in old age. rental income, dividends, conservative investments, or even small businesses can become alternative income sources. It's important your resources work for you, ensuring your final years are lived with autonomy and without financial worries. Schopenhauer teaches us that money, if managed properly, is a powerful ally for ensuring freedom and dignity in old age. It shouldn't be seen as a status symbol, but as a tool to protect against dependence and humiliation. Many spend their lives believing their children's love will be enough to ensure a peaceful end to life. But few understand that true respect comes with the ability to provide for yourself without needing permission to live. Those who prepare financially reap the fruits of autonomy, security, and peace. Ultimately, there's no greater luxury in old age than the freedom to choose your own path. Pillar 5. Vanity and the deception of beauty. Youth is admired for its appearance, but old age demands respect for wisdom. We live in a society where the passage of time is seen as a problem to be fixed. Arthur Schopenhauer, ever attentive to human illusions, warns us of the danger in trying to hold on to what inevitably slips away. He said youth is admired for beauty, but in old age, wisdom should be our chief virtue. The relentless pursuit of youth is a mistake. Old age isn't a burden to hide, but a life stage full of its own values. However, many navigate old age trying to reclaim what's gone, as if a wrinkle-free face could erase time's marks. This leads to disappointment, since no cream, surgery, or treatment can stop time. Accepting aging isn't resignation, it's a sign of intelligence and maturity. From an early age, we're bombarded with the idea that youth is life's most valuable period. The media glorifies young bodies, hair without grey, and faces untouched by time. Aging, conversely, is portrayed as decline, something to fear or conceal. But Schopenhauer teaches us this view in an emotional trap. The problem isn't self-care, but the obsession with looking young at any cost. This leads many to spend fortunes on plastic surgery, procedures, and creams promising rejuvenation, while only temporarily masking a natural process. True beauty, according to Schopenhauer, lies not in the external, but in what we cultivate within ourselves throughout life. The pursuit of eternal youth not only consumes energy and resources, but can prevent a person from enjoying life's most fulfilling stage, maturity. Instead of anxiety and vanity, if we accept that each life phase has its own beauty and purpose, then old age becomes a period of respect and fulfillment, not a battle with the mirror. Schopenhauer teaches us that vanity is a burden that grows heavier each year. Those who spend old age regretting what they've lost miss the chance to enjoy what they've gained, experience, and a new perspective on life. True youth isn't found in smooth skin or hair without silver, but in curiosity, the ability to learn, and the lightness of those who no longer need to prove anything to anyone. Accepting time liberates, and the greatest beauty we can cultivate is the one that never fades, the essence of our being. Pillar 6. Wisdom as true wealth. Many spend their lives accumulating property, status, and money. But Schopenhauer teaches us that in old age, the true treasure isn't what we have, but what we've learned. He stated, the true wealth of old age is not money or status, but the knowledge accumulated over the years. In youth, we're driven by the need to conquer, a good job, a home, social recognition. However, as years pass, we realize all material things can be lost, but what we've learned in life stays with us until the end. The problem is many people reach old age and stop learning, as if knowledge were confined to school years and work. This stagnation not only ages the mind, but the body. Continuous learning isn't just an intellectual luxury, it's a necessity for maintaining mental sharpness and avoiding boredom in old age. Many people, upon retiring, feel they no longer have daily challenges. Without new information and stimuli, the brain begins to lose activity, leading to apathy, isolation, and even neurodegenerative diseases. Schopenhauer saw knowledge as the only wealth no one can take from us. While money can be stolen and status lost, wisdom continues to grow over time. Old age is a period of deep reflection and assessment of the world. Those who dedicate themselves daily to learning something new retain a youthful spirit and an active mind, finding meaning and motivation to live regardless of age. Schopenhauer shows us that an individual's value lies not in appearance or accumulated wealth, but in what their mind can understand. Old age shouldn't be a period of stagnation. Those who keep learning retain a youthful spirit even as their body ages. If there's anything we can leave this world, it's not material goods, but the wisdom we share. Ultimately, the only wealth accompanying us to the end is the knowledge we carry within. Pillar 7. Silence as the weapon of wisdom. Not every truth should be spoken. Arthur Schopenhauer, with his profound insight into human nature, recognized the power of silence as one of the greatest signs of wisdom. He said, "The older we get, the more we realize the value of silence. Silence is the refuge of the wise and the terror of fools." In youth, we're taught we must stand up for ourselves, defend our ideas, and respond to every provocation. However, in adulthood, we understand words can be wasted on those unwilling to listen, and energy spent on useless arguments only depletes us. Silence, far from being a sign of weakness, is a powerful tool for preserving inner peace, avoiding unnecessary exhaustion, and maintaining control over our emotions. Many conflicts in old age don't arise from major events, but from the need to be right, family disputes, misunderstandings with children and in-laws, disagreements over politics or customs. How much exhaustion could be avoided simply by choosing silence? The truth is, no one changes their mind because they're argued into it. On the contrary, confrontation usually only strengthens their conviction, making them more resistant to dialogue. Moreover, as we age, we realize most worries we had earlier were insignificant. Many words we spent trying to convince or correct others were really just a waste of our vital energy. Schopenhauer understood that observation and silence are the weapons of the wise. Those who speak less and listen more understand the world around them better and avoid unnecessary conflicts. Silence allows us to conserve energy for what truly matters and remain above the chaos of the world. Practical tips for using silence to your advantage. Learn to ignore useless arguments. Not every comment requires a response. If someone disagrees with you on a minor point or tries to provoke you, choose not to react. Many arguments are ego games with no real benefit. Cultivate observation. Schopenhauer believed those who speak less understand more. Attentive listening to people around, you can reveal far more about them than any response you could give. Sometimes, the simple act of observing and reflecting is enough to understand and avoid exhaustion. Cultivate external silence. It leads to inner silence, creating moments of calm in your routine, whether reading, nature walks, or simply enjoying a cup of coffee in quiet helps maintain calm and mental clarity. A peaceful environment also protects us from the negativity of others. Schopenhauer teaches us that in a world where everyone wants to talk, those who choose silence become true masters of wisdom. Conclusion. Old age shouldn't be seen as an end, but as the pinnacle of wisdom and freedom. Not possessions, not appearance, not others' approval. The true value of life lies in autonomy, knowledge, and inner peace. Schopenhauer teaches us that those who can live with themselves never fear loneliness. Those who secure their financial independence never fear abandonment. Those who understand that expecting from others is the root of suffering find the freedom to live more lightly. Now I ask you, which of these pillars do you find most important for a dignified old age? Leave your comment. Your opinion is valuable. If this content was helpful, like, share, and subscribe to the channel for more reflections on life. See you in the next video. Take care, until next time.